So when it comes to learning a new language, a lot of the times we get hard on ourselves. We say, man, I'm so lazy. I just need to work harder. But that's actually not what's really going on. What's happening is we're subconsciously punishing ourselves. What do I mean by that? Well, there's actually a professor of psychology at Pierce College. His name's Marty Lobdell. And he talked about how the brain works when it's learning a new habit or building a new study habit. And he did this graph right here. So as you can see, 25 minutes is right where things start to drop off. After that point, we don't really learn anything. And that's the problem. When we begin learning something, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to keep going. Let's say you study English for 6 hours. So the first 25 minutes you're learning and things are great. And then you punish yourself for 5.5 hours where your brain doesn't want to learn anything. And you teach your brain, this sucks and it's not fun. And the brain literally interprets boredom as pain. So what do you think happens when you try to learn English again or go to study again? Well, it looks a little something like this. Let me draw this real quick for you. Your curve gets smaller. So if you can imagine the next time, and then the next time, and then the next time, you're done studying before you even started. And this sucks because you're not going to progress and you don't want to. Our brain wants to do things that rewards us. It tries to avoid things that hurt or punish us, right? And when we try and use this method, it doesn't really progress that fast. So if things that cause us pain or make us bored, make us not want to do it and give us less motivation to do it, what happens when we use pleasure while we're learning and we reward ourselves? Well, when it comes to this method, the difference is dramatic. It's huge. The reason I know that is because I've done it. So when I was an ESL teacher at South Ogden Junior High, well, first off, an ESL teacher is somebody that teaches English to somebody that isn't from America. So they come to school or come to junior high, but they weren't from America. And so I was teaching these students, and I noticed on the first day that I got to meet my students, they walked into class, they saw me, sat down, put their head on the desk, and folded their arms like this. They were ready to fail. They were ready for stress. And the reason that they were prepared for that was because they were conditioned. They had been learning English in school since they were in elementary school. And because they've been using those methods that were more traditional, they were failing. They were punishing themselves and hurting themselves. So they didn't really want to keep doing it, and they didn't want to be there. Now, even though they'd been learning English since elementary school, they didn't understand anything I said. I had to act out every word to them in the beginning. And I started to use my stories to teach them. And they wanted to know about my life, and they got more and more excited about it. And what happened over time, I found out that they were doing things at home by themselves. I wasn't giving them homework. One of my coworkers that was a teacher, she taught computers. And she said, I saw one of your students at the bank. He was translating for his mom. I was blown away. How was he doing that? And then I had another teacher, the principal. Well, she was the principal. She told me that she saw another one of my students, Amelia. She was at the grocery store, Smith's, talking to the cashier for her mom. And she's like, I've never seen any student do that before. They were going out and trying to talk to people. I wasn't telling them to do that. They just did it. And it's because they were seeing how much progress. They were really realizing how much easier it was to learn through this way. But probably what made me the happiest was when Amelia came into class and she was beaming. Her face was just ecstatic. She was happy. And I asked her why she was so happy. And she went on to tell me that she saw her 6th grade teacher coming to the junior high to show 6th graders what 7th grade was going to be like. And she said that when her 6th grade teacher heard her speak in English to her, she cried. And her teacher went on and cried and told her, Amelia, that she thought she would never learn English. And she was really worried about her. And the fact that they could communicate just fine just blew her away. And it was cool to see Amelia conquer that demon. So, sometimes we think that we can't learn a language because we're dumb or because we just don't have the talent for languages. But that's not the case. It's not true at all. You are smart enough. And that's the thing I designed these courses specifically to use stories so that you can be entertained, so that you can have a good time and feel pleasure instead of pain and actually see the results. This way works, I promise. Click below and see these lessons that I've designed. I know this method works. I know that if you do it, you are going to see progress and you're going to reward your brain and you're going to have fun while you're doing it. It's going to be awesome.